Hello everyone. The agenda of today's call to create YAML file and using that YAML file we need to deploy that uh, uh, container or pod in the Kubernetes. So this is my Kubernetes cluster. Here I have created a test cluster with a single node. But by default, if you are not making any changes on the while creating the cluster, it creates means three node cluster in the Kubernetes. So I have changed it and I have created a single node cluster over here. And to connect this, again, I need to click on the three dots here, go to the connect, copy this command. Is a you can see in this command is a G Cloud container uh, cluster get credential techie cluster is the cluster name and zone. This is my zone Europe West 3A and then project name. So just copy the command, click OK, go to the Cloud Shell and it will open in the half screen. So click on the open in new window and then you can close this from here. And once you connect with the Cloud Shell, it will open in a new window and is a full screen mode. So just paste that command and it will ask you to authorize, just authorize it, and you will be connected with your cluster. Hmm. So once it's connected, you can run the command kubectl get pods. I have not created any pod over here, that's why it's not showing the detail of my pods. So first, I'm going to write a YAML code on to use. You can use the Visual Studio Code or IntelliJ or any interpreter to write the codes. So I'm using Visual. This is my Visual version, which is about I will click. It's a version 1.66. So in the Visual Studio Code, first I need to provide the API version, then kind is a kind you can provide the detail like it's a pod, it service is a deployment or is a uh, what kind of things. So you can mention in the kind is a deployment service or the pod or container whatever. So container you need to mention here in the specification. You need to mention the container detail. So very first is the API version, then kind deployment, metadata. In the metadata, you need to provide the name of your deployment. Then in the specification, how many replicas. So suppose I want is a two or three. I can mention it that I want two replicas or three replicas of my deployment. And then selector, in the selector is a match label I'm mentioning is a app hello world, or I can mention anything like a web server or is a application server or is a production deployment. Then in the template is a metadata template label and the app again is the same app in the template also. So here I can also mention the production or deployment thing. Now next is the specification. Under this deployment, I am creating a container is a name K8s demo nginx and name and container port. So if my code is written and I have uploaded this in the GitHub, so like here in the GitHub, my codes are available over here. So from GitHub, I need to clone. Like I just copy this link and in the Cloud Shell, I need to put the command git clone and then the GitHub IP ID detail. Okay, so it's actually so it's a git clone, and I need to copy this, copy and paste it in the command and press enter. So it's a destination path is already exist, so that's why it's a showing issue, so it's not creating. But if I will delete the destination part using the command rm hyphen rf and then folder name, it will delete the folder, and again I can copy this. So I'm going to the inside the folder k8s2 is a here, and ls hyphen l. So I can see the files which are cloned here. And very first, because in my previous video I have shown you how to create a pod with curl, and now I will create a pod with multi container pod. So I have copied this file name, and here is a service. This is for node port. You can see in my here that in my previous video also I have updated that how the communication going on between the pods or between the containers. So why we need to create the deployment and the services. In the three type of services there are cluster IP, node port, and load balancer. So everything we will cover in this section. So in the Kubernetes, first is a multi-container pod, then what is the replica set and how we write the code for replica set. Also is a how to scale up or scale down the replica sets. Like suppose I have created a replica set with the three replica. So is a three replicas, I want to increase that to four. So again I need to make the changes over there in the code, and I will use the apply command to check it. So also is a deployment, like for deployment I have written this code is a for the deployment. If it's a replica set, I need to mention here replica set is a for pod, kind should be as a pod. So it's a based on the code command or the YAML file, whatever you written in the code, that thing only deploy on the uh, Kubernetes cluster. So these are the topics which I will cover in this video series. So what is deployment, how to create the deployment and the scaling of the deployment, how to use deployment with rolling update, and how to create services and service type with the load balancer, with the node port, with cluster IP, and the rollback with the YAML file. So whatever the changes you made or any update you pushed on the containers, how can you roll back that? So it's also I will cover the CI/CD pipeline or CI/CD build. So this is a multi-container pod which I am going to create in this video. So in the multi-container pod, very first I need to mention the API version is a version 1. Then kind is a creating multi pod means is a pod. Okay, and inside this pod I will create multiple containers. So it's a kind pod, then metadata, name web server, label app nginxweb, type is a production, version is v1. And then in the specification part is a containers, name of the containers is a web, image which image I am going to use, then name is a curl, or again I am pulling the image from the docker hub is a curl one, and this command which is used to create the local host port number 80, and it will take the 15 minutes 15 seconds sleep time, because once the container will create, it will take some time. So that's why I'm putting the sleep time of 15 seconds. So now go to the Google console here. So very first we'll check what I have written in the command. So I have copied the YAML file name from here and clear the screen, and from here we need to type vi, or we can see that is a cat and the file name. So cat is the it will show you the content in the what is in the file, the file contents. So it's a file contents is like API version v1 kind pod metadata name web server label nginxweb production this one, okay, and the image nginx. So if I want to change this content of the file, I need to use the vi editor, is a vi and the file name enter, and I entered in the vi editor. From here, very first I need to click on I button. Once I will click there, it will come to the insert mode, and then suppose I'm not using Alpine here, I'm just going to use the nginx. And now if I want to save it, just press escape button, then colon and wq. So the file has been saved. Now if I will see in the cat command, now image name has been changed. Previously it was nginx 1.16, but now it's the nginx. So now create this container, multi-container pod is a command kubectl, then is we can use a create command or the apply command, but better if you will use apply command in the next video, or if you will create the deployment or the services, or you will push any update, that time it will help you, because there always we use apply command. So here also I am going to use apply command, apply hyphen f, and then my YAML file name, and press enter. It will show the error. Okay, is a for the validation, is a validate false. Okay, so I'm doing one thing, is I'm not going to validate it. So in that case, spacebar and press here, enter. So once I press enter, is a pod web server created. And now I will check with the command, is a kubectl get pods. It will show me the list of the pods here. One pod ready, one of two web server, and then same command if I will run with the hyphen o and wide, then it will show me the IP address of the pod. Okay, so thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel, and also put your queries in the comment box.